Okay, so now I've got the New England Patriots depth chart. I'll just go through the whole roster and then give my thoughts on kind of the team just overall. So we will start with the offense and the receiver group. So definitely better than last year. It's like their number one receiver is probably the biggest question. Like who's really going to take that number one receiving role? But I feel like they'll kind of spread the ball around it a lot. I don't feel like there'll be one certain player. They got Kendrick Bourne, who they brought from San Francisco. He's pretty young, like up and coming receiver. I think he could have a pretty decent season. He's not really a physical receiver, kind of more of a route runner, just good possession receiver, not really a good deep threat either. But he's a good, solid receiver. Like when he's gotten some playing time for San Francisco, he was pretty decent. So I think he could be a pretty good weapon for whoever the quarterback is. Same with Nelson Aguilar, who had a kind of a like comeback year last year after just having a couple really bad years for Philadelphia. So I mean, we'll see if he can bring over that play from Philadelphia, and then if he does, then you got yourselves a really good deep threat who was just very consistent last year, which is kind of not been his game. So it was a bit fluky, maybe. But I think Nelson Aguilar, he's still pretty young, definitely got some potential, and he could develop into a good deep threat for the Patriots also. So I think Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, I think they're two pretty decent receivers. They're nothing like elite, but they're pretty decent. Jacoby Myers also, I don't really see him playing in the slot. He could definitely do that. I feel like they just kind of will play these players all over the place. Like I see Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne playing more slot. But Jacoby Myers was pretty decent last year. Kind of the only really reliable weapon they really had on that whole receiver group. So that's pretty decent. And he seemed like a reliable player for Cam Newton, who would just throw the ball to him basically. That's it. So that's good there. And then they got some interesting receivers outside of those top three, especially the boy Nikhil Hallerie when this thing lows. Nikhil Hallerie definitely not lived up to where he was drafted and what people really thought he would be coming out. Just doesn't get separation really. People thought he would be able to get separation much better, be a better 50-50 contested catcher. That's kind of his only game, but he's not even that good at it. So I feel like he definitely has a chance to get traded or cut. Like I don't know if he even makes the roster. He's just not been good. Like he could definitely get traded. Just really just not good. Especially nowadays when speed kind of kills and he's just not fast or anything. It's not looking good for Nikhil Hallerie. I mean, Gunnar Olszewski is pretty decent. Kind of more of a returner. He was a pretty good returner last year. Could get some snaps in the slot, kind of be in that backup role. So that's fine. Marvin Hall also another deep threat, really. Yeah, special teamer deep threat. We'll see if he makes the roster. Matthew Slater, yeah, going to make the roster. Just kind of that special team mentor, dude who just kind of coach up everybody. Just really good veteran to have in their locker room. One of the best gunners in the league, probably the. So I don't really see them cutting Matthew Slater. The rest of the receivers don't really got much. Trey Nixon. We'll see who makes the roster. Maybe somebody comes out of nowhere. And offensive line, Isaiah Wynn's been pretty good after coming out of the draft. He's just been very solid pretty much. So I think you got your left tackle there. So that's fine. Left guard, Michael Wenu was very good last year. He played tackle and guard at both pretty high levels for a rookie. And he was drafted in like the 6th round. So that was a really good steal in the draft. Was one of the best rookie offensive linemen in the league. So I think they definitely should start him at guard because he was just that good. And especially if injuries happen, like if Isaiah Wynn goes down again, you can possibly move him back out to tackle and then slide in like William Sherman, Alex Redmond, who's more of a center but can play guard. Like they got some players they can rotate in and out. But Michael Owenu, they need to start him. He's very good. Well, was last year. And David Andrews also they locked up. One of the best centers in the league. He got his new contract, so that's good. You keep him around. Player who's familiar with the Patriots and Bill Belichick. He's been here for a very long time. That's got Ted Karras as backup. That's fine as a backup. he's not a good starter, but if you just have Ted Karras as a good depth player, I think that's fine. Like, people, when they signed him, thought they were going to let go of David Andrews because they signed Ted Karras, but Ted Karras isn't a starter. They have Shaq Mason, right guard. He's still very good, also pretty versatile. If he stays healthy, I think he could be a really good guard next year. Same as this whole offensive line. If like they're healthy, like if Isaiah Wynn's healthy and Trent Brown, the tackle they got from Las Vegas, he was very good. It kind of had his best season when he was with the Patriots, and then just I don't know, it just seemed like he got injured a bit for the Raiders and just didn't really fit with the Raiders. I mean, he just seemed to like not really care and just do whatever he wanted. So he goes back to the Patriots, and we'll see if he can stay healthy because he is a very good, solid starting tackle in the league. Just a massive dude, really good in the run game, and pretty solid pass protector. So that's a good. And tight end position, they brought in two really big tight ends in free agency. I mean, the two biggest tight ends, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. So they'll definitely be using a lot of two tight end sets next year. Jonnu Smith kind of more of that receiving option. I think he could have a very good year. I like Jonnu Smith. Like, he could basically be a receiver because he's got amazing speed for his size and everything. Just absolute ripped. Just amazing tight end. So I thought that was very good. And he's still young. Like, he can still break out to a really good tight end. And same with Hunter Henry, who's just been a very good tight end for a long time. Has dealt with some injuries, but when he has played, he's kind of just been very good, pretty much, to be honest. So you got Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, two very good tight ends. Kind of going back, I feel like they're going to run the ball a lot also, and then just use play action with the two tight ends. So I think they definitely improved. They also got Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene, two dudes they drafted in the draft. Like, I mean, the Patriots overall have not been good at drafting. You just have to say, like, Devin Asiasi didn't look amazing. Same with Dalton Keene. But then you just go, oh, screw these guys. We'll just pick up two of the best tight ends. I don't mind it. Matt LaCrosse also. We'll see. We'll see if it makes the roster. And then quarterback position, the big position. They got Cam Newton and Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones starts week one. Like, I just think Mac Jones right now could be a better quarterback than Cam Newton. I feel like they could just use Cam Newton in kind of that running game. You put him in goal line or something, short yardage. You can maybe bring him in as kind of a Taysom Hill role. Also can be a pretty good veteran to coach out Mac Jones. So yeah, I think you kind of use Cam Newton in that and just have Mac Jones be the quarterback. Because I think Mac Jones can definitely run this offense, especially if they run the ball a lot. You just have Mac Jones control the offense, then hit some open receivers, which he's good at. And he's also got a pretty good arm. And when you got good deep threats like Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, like Marvin Hall, I mean, Cam Newton just doesn't have the arm strength anymore, and you need somebody like Mac Jones. And Mac Jones probably has better accuracy than Cam Newton, who just, yikes, is just not amazing anymore. So I think Mac Jones starts straight away. And then you got Jared Stidham. Good third quarterback. They also brought back Brian Hoyer. I mean, are they going to have four quarterbacks on the roster? We'll see. Maybe Brian Hoyer gets cut or Jared Stidham does. It'd probably be Brian Hoyer if they do. I don't really know why they brought back Brian Hoyer. They already got three quarterbacks. And the running back position, Damian Harris, I think, will probably be their number one running back. And James might more of a receiving back. Like, he'll definitely be used in the receiving game more than the running game. We'll not get a ton of touches in the running game. That's kind of not his role. Just kind of catches the ball at the backfield. Damian Harris, more of a running back. He was pretty solid when he got a shot last year. So I think he's definitely going to be their starter. I think Ramondre Stevenson could be a very good third running back. I think he could eventually take a number one role for the Patriots. He's a very good scheme fit. Kind of has good power and speed. Kind of more of a power back. Especially behind this offensive line. I think he'd be very productive. I mean, Sony Michel, his career has not really turned out very well being a first round pick. I think he could definitely be on the trade block. And it could be a surprising cut maybe. Because I don't really know how they utilize him with the players they already got. And I think Ramondre Stevenson probably a better player. And he was drafted in like the third or fourth round. Even like Brandon Bolden was kind of good special teamer and has had some pretty decent running back play. So we'll see if the other players. I think Sony Michel could definitely get cut or traded, and Jakob Johnson, good fullback. And then going to the defense. So we'll start with the defensive line. Their big free agency pickup, Matt Judon, very good pass rusher. Just been pretty solid, to be honest. It's not ever been like a leading sack like leader in the NFL. But it's just been very good, solid pass rusher. So that's fine. I think he could definitely help out that defensive line. So I thought that was a very good pickup. And Effrey Jennings, also pretty good backup, good outside linebacker, pretty versatile also, can kind of be used as a primary linebacker, also can drop back into coverage. So that's fine. Lawrence Guy also, that was a pretty good player to get back. Kind of be that veteran defensive lineman, good run stopper. It's kind of his game. Some pass rush, not really what he will do. Dietrich Wise, more of a pass rush and defensive tackle. He's still pretty good, so that's a good rotational player. Like their defensive line is very deep. They got a lot of guys. So I think their defensive line can be very good, and they also drafted a player I'm about to talk about, Christian Barmore, in the second round. I thought he would go in the first round. I thought he was clearly the number one defensive tackle in the draft. He did go as the first defensive tackle. I think it would really help out their pass rush. He's not an amazing run stopper, but they just didn't really use him as a run stopper in Alabama. I think they could use him more with the Patriots as that, but they already got the run stoppers. I think Christian Barmore, you bring him in on like third down or something to rush the pass. I think he'd be very productive. Like he could be an impact rookie straight away, and has a ton of potential, man. Like he could be a star defensive tackle. So was a very good draft pick. I did like that. Keem Spence. Brian Gower, nothing special, just rotational player, see if they make the roster. Davin Gocho, who they picked up from free agency, another kind of big run stopper. So they're definitely going to stop the run well with Lawrence Guy and Davin Gocho. They'll stop the run well, and then you probably bring in like Dietrich Wise and Christian Barmore to rush the passer on like third down. I think that's like very good room they got there. And I mean, they got Henry Anderson listed as their starting defensive end. Probably not going to be Henry Anderson. He'd kind of be more of a rotational player, a veteran presence. Won't really get a ton of sacks. Another kind of run stopper. I think Ronnie Perkins, though, who they drafted in like the third round or fourth round, I thought he was a very good player. He had some pretty decent play coming out of college. I mean, kind of all his sacks came against Kansas, which doesn't really show that much, to be honest, because Kansas had a really bad offensive line. He's a really good athlete. Like, I think he could be very good in kind of an outside linebacker role for them, rushing the passer. So I thought that was a very good draft. I think he could get some good playing time and play over like guys like Henry Anderson, because I think Ronnie Perkins has higher potential. And they also got Kyle Van Noy and Chase Winovich. These dudes would probably battle out for the other pass rush spot. Kyle Van Noy, being in the system before with the Patriots, still a pretty productive veteran. So he's went back there, probably be their starter, other defensive end. And Chase Winovich also been a pretty decent player who they drafted a couple of years ago. He's been another good rotational pass rusher. Nothing amazing, just will get you sacks and just be a solid player. And then the linebacker position, you got Dante Hightower coming back from opting out last year. He's still a very solid linebacker, getting older, but he's still very good. Also really good blitzer. So good in the middle of your defense. Jawan Bentley, they also got more of a run stopper, so that's probably his role. I mean, they're going to stop the run very well. Their pass coverage or linebacker position would probably not be great, but Jawan Bentley and Dante Hightower, they would definitely stop the run at a high level. Rayquan Mcmillan also as a backup linebacker, I think that's fine. He's still he's not an amazing linebacker anymore. He did have some pretty good play when he was with Miami, and then just wasn't really very good at Las Vegas. But as a backup, I think it's fine. I think Josh Uche gets some more playing time this year. They drafted him pretty highly. You probably get more used as a pass rusher. I think he could probably play over an Efrey Jennings in the outside linebacker role, or could realistically play kind of more third down snaps because he's probably a better pass coverage player. So I think Josh Uche could definitely get some more playing time. Harvey Lange, good athlete. I think Cameron McGrone for the future because he's got an injury, so I don't know how much he'll be able to play straight away. But I think Cameron McGrone could be a very good linebacker. So I think maybe eventual replacement for like Dante Hightower or Javon Bentley. So I thought that was good. Secondary now, let's start with the safeties. They got Devin McCourty, still very solid safety. Older, probably not going to be around for too much longer. But he's still finding that free safety role. That's got Adrian Phillips, kind of more of he kind of plays all over the place, to be honest. He covers the slot, covers tight ends, plays in the box. But yeah, they'll rotate him in and out most of the time with like Kyle Duggar, who they drafted last year in the second round, was a bit of a surprising pick. He was actually pretty solid. He's kind of more of a box safety. So he's pretty solid. I think he could definitely have a pretty decent year last year and play some more snaps than Adrian Phillips. I think that's because he was Division II, so yeah. And then Adrian Colbert, Joshua Bledsoe. We'll see about these two. Joshua Bledsoe probably has some pretty good potential. They did draft him. He was a pretty decent safety coming out of the draft. Adrian Colbert, kind of more of a special teamer. Again, probably just going to be a decent backup. And then the cornerback position, J.C. Jackson has been a very good player for them. Was one of the leaders in. I think he was the second leader in interceptions last year. Being an undrafted player, just playing as good as he has, he does get burnt sometimes on double moves. Like he does kind of get exposed in that. Like Brashad Perriman got him a couple of times like double moves, but overall it's just been a very solid corner. So I think that's very good. They also got Stefan Gilmore, who is holding out right now for probably a new contract. I don't know if the Patriots give him it. He could definitely get traded pretty soon. I could see that happen, but if he is on the roster, still one of the best cornerbacks in the league. A bit of a down year last year, but before that year, he was Defensive Player of the Year. Still a number one corner, still good. So I think that's fine. Jonathan Jones also, he's still pretty decent. I think he could start in the slot for them, definitely. More of an outside corner, but Jonathan Jones, probably their third best cornerback on the roster. And especially Jason McCourty going out, who's kind of their slot corner. One of these dudes probably going to have to replace him in that role. They also got Joe John Williams, who they drafted pretty highly a few years ago. He just hasn't really gotten a lot of playing time. So maybe you see if Stefan Gilmore gets traded, Joe John Williams replace kind of Stefan Gilmore. I think he still has some potential. So, it's just going to be hard for him to get on the field if they do have him there. Michael Jackson, D'Angelo Ross. We'll see if they make the roster. D. Virgin, what a name. Justin Bethel again. We'll see if they make the roster. Some of these dudes probably more special teamers. They do have Jalen Mills also, who's a pretty good free agency pickup. They did pay him quite a lot of money, but he's very versatile. I think he could definitely start at safety for them. He's played corner and safety in his career. Played more corner last year, but I could definitely see him transitioning to more safety because he wasn't amazing at corner. So we'll have to see with Jalen Mills. I think he could be a pretty good player, though, in the defense. And then go on special teams quickly. Jake Bailey, he's fine. Nick Folk was pretty decent last year, but they did bring in Roberto Aguayo and another player, so we'll see what happens there. Kicker returner, Gunnar Olszewski, yeah, he was pretty solid at that last year. They also got like Marvin Hall, who can do that, or like Jacoby Myers something. Brandon Bolden, probably not really a kicker returner, but that'll probably be who it is, Gunnar Olszewski. So that's fine, and that's kind of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. The Patriots definitely got high expectations for next year. If their team can stay healthy, I think they can definitely make a playoff run because I think they definitely improved their team quite a lot and they're definitely trying to win in the future. Well, probably more present than future. So that's pretty decent for the Patriots, and I hope